Well, Vern, old buddy, it's good to see you could make it. My trusty colleague. And of course, where's our other buddy there? Oh my golly, it's Hair of the Dog, Sparky. Looks like you got into it a little bit earlier. You couldn't wait, eh? Anyways, hope you haven't had too much, because we got a big long review ahead of us.
If you're not interested in the distillery information or the Tomatin history, just scroll ahead for the review.
So we're locating the distillery, Tomatin Distillery, and it was one of the largest distilleries in the world back in the 70s. And then it got in trouble during the whiskey lock. That was the 80s. It was hard on all the distilleries of Scotland. A lot of them did not recover. But it was purchased by a Japanese firm in the 1985, and it's been doing quite well. It's focusing more on quality than quantity. Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey. And what have we got here for tonight? You notice I'm dressed quite warm here. We got another storm here on the island. Nothing like winter on Vancouver Island, but not so bad. Especially when I turn the heat up in here. Tomatin, 14-year-old. And it is the port. This is the Port Cask. And tell you a little bit about the whiskey. I've done the 18. I have a Tomatin that I want to do as well. But this one here, I've had this for a while. And I kind of got my own... probably my own marks in my brain right now, but that can always change in a review. So, but because I have drank a little bit of this, as you can see. What can I say about it is that it's 46% ABV. I like that. It's non-chill filtered, and there is no coloring added, but it has a nice color to it. Supposedly, as I understand, it came from, of course, the bourbon casks, and it had a combination of bourbon and, of course, the tawny port casks, which are supposed to have previously held port for about 50 years. Now, this sounds more like, drinking quality port, not a port season cask. So this is something that will affect the whiskey. What type of cask? Is it a port season cask, or is this an actual cask that is from good quality port that is sold at a pretty good price? So, anyways, let's get at her. Enough babble. Tomatin, they call themselves the lighter side of the Highlands. I'm not sure. It's not always really a good descriptive name for Tomatin. It's 46 ABV, so it's not the lightest whiskey I've had. But let's get into the review and let's find out. The nose. A very rich nose. And I do smell the port casks. It's very defined. And the port it has a distinctive nose to it. But I'm also getting a little bit of vanilla, so that's probably the influence of the bourbon cask, the oak. But the port seems to dominate here. Oh, I could say you've got a couple of layers there. I mean, I am smelling a wee bit of the bourbon. So we got the grapes going here. Maybe some strawberries, ripe strawberries, honey, and back to the vanilla. And I'm going to say with the honey, the oak. And it's a bit on the nutty side. So, getting into maybe some almonds. And we got some cereal notes here. The barley. And it's got that richness. Date squares. And maybe something that most of you probably haven't had is Huckleberry Crisp. It's a little different than Apple Crisp. Huckleberry Crumble. Oh yeah. So again, I'm back. I'm getting the port, the influence of the port. It's very, like I say, it's a very rich nose, and it's got a definitely that vanilla and the influence of the bourbon now coming in as well. And more of that dessert, the sweet desserts. Maybe I'm getting a little bit of that cheesecake now. And this is more of a chocolate cheesecake. Boy, a good nose. Now the palate. So on. The palate is lighter than what I was expecting because I forgot what the palate was, even though I drank enough of this. But it's very presentable. The word smooth, we don't use it too often. That's the initial impact of it. It's almost a velvety drink. Not a heavy coat, but there is a coat there. There is some oils. And now we're getting the tartness. Tart berries. But it is a gentle arrival. With a gentle arrival, it still has a rich texture to it. Honey, the red fruits, and a wee bit of the oak spices. So, I'm going to refresh. Well, it's delivering a lot of sweetness now, so it's kind of changed its presentation a bit here, and but the sweet, it's almost like sweet and sour. We've got more the richness of the ripe fruits with the tart fruits. and a wee bit of the oak spices again. You know, this is probably gonna this can probably take a little bit of water. I'm going to give it a shot, not much, but I'm going to give it a little, just a little touch more. There we are. And let's just give it a little bit of water and see where this one goes. That was just a little bit, because it is a lighter whiskey, so I didn't want to overdo it there. Well, normally I expect it to really sweeten up, but we're still getting the sweet and sour. I don't want to add any more water. I'm going to leave it at that. Anyways. Sweet and sour, vanilla, wee bit of spice, cinnamon would be the cinnamon spice, maybe some baking spices, a little bit of the sweet biscuits, and that again is probably the, that would be maybe some of the cereal notes mixed in there. And in the background, I am getting, I say back to nutty, something nutty there again. It's almonds, or is it the macadamia? Macadamia fudge or macadamia chocolate? Something in that area. Yeah. Let's go after the finish here. Getting a little bit of licorice here. But pretty much a repeat of what I've mentioned before. The notes I've mentioned before, they are repeating themselves. You know, you've got the influence of the port. It's very obvious, and that's the fruitiness of it, and the sweet and sour. That sweet and sour arrival seems to, you know, it brings on, you know, really familiar fruits like your ripe peaches and so it's not just raspberries and berries and all that. You've got peaches, maybe apricots, and not getting as much of the wood. You know, the grapes and the strawberries, but it's like overripe strawberries and grapes. And that's again with some sour notes. So it's interesting. It's got some character to it. So you know, we got some layers. We're having some fun here. I'm enjoying it. We're almost getting ready for a score here. Here definitely is going to score somewhere 85, 86. It's going to get an 86 because I think it's right there with the 18. It might be a 14, but it's got enough character. It actually fills in some of the gaps maybe that the 18 had. I like the 18, but this one here has got a lot of interesting character to it. So 86 is my score. I'm going to ask you to drink wisely and intelligently. do not drink and drive. Until the next time, Salange.